Trinity here. I just thought I would share something with you um, that God just hit me in the face with not too long ago, and it is this. Have you ever read Bill Weiss's 23 Minutes in Hell? And he's talking, he's talking about how when you go there and you experience it and visit it, how awful it is and how scary it is. And he's telling us that he's glad that God took the fear and the trepidation away from him, so that he could just tell his story without the horror of his experience. And one of the stories that one of the metaphors that he used was, imagine having a pool and two men get out and fill the pool with a mysterious liquid that looks just like the water, but it isn't the water. It's something totally different. And then children come by, and then they want to get into the water. And you're like, no, 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 no. That's the same difference with us Christians telling non-believers what hell is like. Because we don't want people to go there at all. It's not that we want, not necessarily that we want to, indoctrinate people into what we believe. It's just that we don't want them to go there, period. It's a really, really, really terrible place. And that's not the point of my message, though. The point of my message is this. That in order to find love, you have to find God first. Because God is love, as it says in John 4:16. 1 John 4:16. And a lot of men and women don't understand that. That's why they get so entangled in, divorce and unhappiness and, abusive relationships and stuff like that. Because they don't know the true originator of love, which was and is Jesus. And that's what we were born for, was to, tell people about Jesus and to tell people about hell, mostly because if you look at the Bible, Jesus hardly ever talked about heaven. Why? Because he thought it would be more important for people not to go to hell than to talk about heaven all the time. Because he didn't want us to not to be aware of hell, to steer away from it, in other words. That's why he talked about hell more than heaven. Which I think is sad, but it's just a fact of life. And I'll tell you, you think that, all the stuff that you do in this life means anything? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, it does in the sense that, you know, you're doing what God has called you to if you're a Christian, and even if you're not a Christian, it does make sense in that sense. But, you know, having a job, being successful is not that important. What is important is that you know Jesus and you know Him in your heart, and you know that you are loved, no matter if someone actually tells you that or not. And let me tell you something. Life is but a vapor. What we do is not that important. Honestly, it isn't. You know, our lives are basically a pillar of smoke, but if we're doing what we're called to do, and we touch people's lives, that's what matters. That's what matters. It's not how much money we have. It's not how much influence we have. I mean, you know, if we're truly working for Jesus, we'll get influence. We'll get what we need. He'll give us what we need. I mean, heck, he always he already gives us our talents and abilities. So here's my point. We will not be judged by what we did, but we will be judged in the light of what we were called to do. That is a line from one of my favorite evangelists that I've always listened to ever since I was a wee baby in the Christian faith, and sometimes I'll watch him and fall asleep to his teachings, but and sometimes I'll use them in mine, as you just saw there. But yeah, being successful and being successful in the world's eyes is not as important as being successful in God's eyes. That is my point. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this message, and I hope you learned from it. And I hope that you learn what true love is through it, because it's not about sex. It's not about, you know, all that stuff and none of that. It's about loving Jesus and learning love through Him. I'm sorry about that. Learning love through Him. It is not about, you know, just putting yourself out there and looking like, you know, looking desperate. It's not about that at all. But it's about living through Him and for Him, so that you can have the right influence and touch people in the right way, so that you can have what He wants you to have. And like I said, I hope you learn from this message, And I hope you enjoyed it. And and for those of you that don't know, I am in a wheelchair, so I do have medical issues. So if you hear anything strange from anywhere, don't worry about that. That is just, that's just what happens. It's something I cannot help. But as I said, if you learn anything from this, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.